There has been quite a flurry of news around Skinwalker Ranch as of late. Being that there's a new owner, a highfalutin commercial banker out of Utah. He is a new owner of the Skinwalker Ranch, and I believe he took over sometime maybe last year, maybe 2 years ago, right around the filming of the Hunt for Skinwalker documentary. Since that time, he has opened up the ranch to the History Channel network. Or this is the History Channel, I guess. And they're doing a couple different things. They put out an episode for Ancient Aliens, which is basically like a 45-minute overview of what Skinwalker Ranch is. And there is a new show called The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch, which is a brand new show on the History Channel. I believe it's an 8-part series where they allow the scientist to take a camera crew and go around the property of Skinwalker Ranch, poke around, tip over some rocks and see what he can see. And all the while, he's got this brand new crew with him, and he's got a cast and crew of people with him. And this first clip that I have from the episode, The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch, speaks to that. Here we go.
Hi, Travis.
Hey, Brandon, how you doing?
Brandon Fugel.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
The new owner of Skinwalker Ranch. I see you've been able to get acquainted with our team.
Yeah.
Eric Bard is our principal investigator. Dr. Segala has been the scientist. Tom Winterton, our ranch superintendent. Jim Morse is our ranch manager. And Brian Arnold, otherwise known as Dragon, head of security. Thank you for coming together. This is the most unique science project of its kind, because we've verified and documented that some of the most disturbing, unexplained events in the past decades, if not hundreds of years, have occurred on this property.
That sounds exciting and maybe even a little bit scary, right?
The guy talking right there, that is the host of the show, Travis S. Taylor. And he's got a bit of a southern drawl. He's got a bit of a southern accent there. But this guy is highly educated. He's an aerospace engineer, optical physicist, optical scientist, science fiction author. He has multiple degrees. He's no dummy at all. And I believe he currently works for the government in some capacity right now. But he's hosting this show to figure out what exactly is going on at Skinwalker Ranch. And if you are new to this, or you've been following along within the recent past, Robert Bigelow owned the ranch and allowed scientists and studies and tests to be performed. But the nature and the exact nature of those tests and the outcome is not really known. And some of the instrumentation is kind of like understood, but a lot of stuff is still kept secret due to Bigelow's wish. He hasn't released a lot of that information. So this next clip, it talks about what current instrumentation they're using and what they got going on.
We're observing the property, primarily looking for phenomena and real evidence that there's something here on site. The idea of building a control room was born out of necessity so that I can observe what's happening at all hours. We have surveillance assets allowing us to see in various directions across the property. We have thermographic imaging cameras, night vision equipment.
And so we've got the weather data, always important. Temperature, humidity.
The daily rain.
Right.
And then what we got here?
You're looking at the output from the Satan platform, which is actually right there.
Okay.
We also have a platform that I designed, to which I've given the name Satan. It's an acronym for Sentinel Assignment, Telemetry, and Notification. It's a device that allows us to measure vibrations in the ground and to record sounds that are below the frequency range of human hearing.
The device is constantly measuring, and whenever we get a signal of interest, it lets me know about it.
Okay. This is the transponders for the airplanes.
Right, so this is air traffic over the ranch right now.
We also have an avionics receiver that receives the signals being emitted by aircraft, identifying them by their tail numbers. The purpose of the avionics receiver is to help us discern between things of known origin, aircraft, and bright light sources that have no identifying information. And we've seen things that are actually quite unexpected and confusing. But I am not here to believe, I am not here to disbelieve, I am here to observe.
Well, what'd you think?
Oh, it's the inner sanctum.
That's awesome, man.
They had screens and screens and screens of computer monitors, sensors up on the wall. It was fascinating to see, and some of the anomalies and the interesting things that they are trying to capture are like encounters with Bigfoot, Dogman, translucent giant creatures, portals, UFOs, dog people dressed in trench coats, balls of light of all sorts and color, cattle mutilation, poltergeists, all like it's got a little bit of everything for everyone, and they're trying to capture everything that's going on there. And so far, they're just ramping up. This first episode is they're trying to introduce everyone to all of this stuff. Now, since not a lot happens this episode, one of the key things about Skinwalker Ranch does come up, which is when someone takes over the ranch, it is told and asked of them that before you take ownership of this ranch, don't dig. It's frowned upon. The whatever lives there and is doing this does not like when humans go out there with their pickaxe and start digging. They don't like it. Bad things start to happen. And this clip is about that.
So one of the first things the guys want to do is get some surveys and some testing done. They want to do some RF testing. They want to do radiological testing, some thermography, and they want to dig.
I'm not sure I'm comfortable with that.
That right there speaking is the new owner. He is the investment banker.
But which part are you not comfortable with, Brandon?
Commercial bank.
The digging. I think that once we commence digging, it opens up a whole Pandora's box, and there's certain risks that I think you just aren't privy to and haven't been properly briefed on.
And so they go back and forth about whether or not they're going to allow Travis to dig. And at the end of the episode, they present him with some information, and that cuts. There's a cliffhanger, Joe. You got to wait till next episode to see what's in the box. We can't find out what's in the box until episode 2. But
what channel is this on?
This is on the History Channel. This is the same channel that did the unidentified UFO series, Ancient Aliens. The History Channel has really turned into a channel about the paranormal and some conspiracies and Hitler too. They still like Hitler over there. Big Hitler channel. So with Skinwalker Ranch, there have been anomalies there that go beyond like just a UFO in the sky. There are creatures that appear that are out of this world, meaning, or I should say they're out of time. There are like very large dire wolves that have been sighted there. Dire wolf is like a type of wolf that was around 10, 20,000 years ago. Huge, big, not walking around today. Those have been encountered up close and personal. And there have been various other sightings of cryptids or just weird, strange creatures that should not exist in this time. And that is a theme that that keeps appearing in and around Skinwalker Ranch. Now, the host of that show, Travis, he went on Richard Dolan's podcast, and they chit chat a little bit. Obviously, they didn't want to get into too many spoilers, but he did go into some interesting things, and so I'll play this clip right here. This is the types of experiments that they're doing at Skinwalker Ranch?
So the experiments, the equipment we had ranged in instruments that would measure all of the electromagnetic spectrum, from very long RF wavelengths through microwaves to visible and infrared light, all the way out to gamma and X-rays. Right. We also had particle counters. We had volatile organic compound detectors, meaning toxic chemicals and organic things like bacteria and fungi. Mm-hmm. We had ground penetrating radar. We had above ground radars. We had gravitational detection equipment. We even had some very rudimentary time measurement equipment. I'm hoping to, in the future, do something much more advanced.
Wait, I'm sorry, rudimentary, what did you just say?
Time measurement.
Time, you did say time measurement.
Yeah.
Meaning what exactly?
Well, precise clocks. Because I have a theory that if there are gravitational effects, which we measured, then you might see time dilation or at least time inaccuracy.
I was wondering if that's where you were going. That's very interesting. So
it's crazy is what it is. It's more than interesting.
It's crazy. I mean, look, everyone who studied this in a lot of detail, and I'm no expert, but I know that time moves differently on Earth's surface than it does as you move out away from Earth's because the gravitational effect. So, but you wouldn't, that effect is very, very small by any measurement that we can detect. Do you have reason to believe that there's greater time effects down at the range?
Let me give you a hypothetical. Mm-hmm. If you were to take the clock on the bridge of the Starship Enterprise and then place a clock at the event horizon of the warp bubble right as they went into faster than light travel, the clocks would be different. And that's something really intriguing to me. Mm-hmm. And I'll leave it at that at this point.
He brings it up for a bit of a reason. I think it's a teaser for the rest of the series. But if you remember, a few weeks ago, I played a clip where David Paulides was out in the field at I think Mesa Verde, and they did some time studies themselves over this particular area, and they found discrepancies in time through the experiments that they were doing as well. So I just find it interesting that there was a missing 411 clip a few weeks ago. Now there is this new kind of time experiment going on at Skinwalker Ranch. And he continues on. There is something that did happen to him. Like, the series is done. Something did happen to him while he was there at Skinwalker Ranch. I'll play this clip.
Like I said, when I first started, I was afraid I'd be out there for 4 months and not find anything. Mm-hmm. But instead, I was out there for 4 months, and I need another 4 months at a minimum just to even understand what I saw in those 4 months.
That's incredible.
It was pretty amazing. And one of the things that they did tell me I could say, I'm not going to say much about it except that there are 14 seconds of my life that's missing, and we have that measured with instruments and documented, and we can't figure out where I was for 14 seconds. But I know where I was. I told them what happened, but none of the instruments saw me during this time.
Okay, that is fascinating, and this is, I assume, why you want to get into time dilation or time measurement.
Yes, it is one of the reasons.
So, is it possible that you disappeared for 14 seconds? What do you think?
Well, I have perfect memories and recollection of what I did for those 14 seconds, mm-hmm. but all the cameras and things do not show me doing these things.
So that is his recollection. He's saying exactly what he said. I was missing by all accounts. People witnessed me. Instruments did not see me there for 14 seconds, but I recall everything that happened. And this is a guy who's got a degree in physics. He's got a PhD of optical science and engineering. He's got a master's in astronomy, PhD aerospace. This guy is no joke. He knows exactly what he's talking about. He's not going to be making up some bullshit. I don't think he would jeopardize whatever credibility he has within the scientific community making this stuff up. And if there's instrumentation if there's evidence of him not being there for 14 seconds, I don't think he would make that up. That's very curious. Missing time, 14 seconds, but he remembers it. He's conscious of that time. So where was he? We'll have to wait and see if they have any best guesses. Meanwhile, the old owner, Robert Bigelow, he's done all these tests. He's done a lot of these tests, and for whatever reason, he has chosen not to release all the results of the experiments that were performed there when he had the NIDS investigation on site at Skinwalker Ranch. That was back when George Knapp was there doing his book. So that's all the clips I have, Joe, of Skinwalker Ranch. Some interesting stuff there. I'll put up a good chunk of all those stuff, all those clips for the Patreon people, so you guys can listen to it at length. And what I'll bring up on screen right here is a couple of interesting things that relate to what we're talking about. See if I can. Why is my Brave browser not working? Please, come on, Brave. There we go. Okay. So the Brave browser is up on screen right here, and the headline says, "Engineer gives space-time bending forensic analysis of tic-tac-shaped Nimitz UFO." So what this engineer is saying, that there is some space-time warping effect going on that is being viewed or is able to be observed by using the infrared. And it's this guy has his own sort of credentials. He's saying, hey, there's some sort of a space-time effect. Infrared shows evidence of an alteration of space-time in the areas around the craft due to the presence of what appears to be a dark balloon-shaped spots. Empirical evidence suggests that the craft is using advanced propulsion technologies that is capable of gravitational time dilation, drawing energy from a vacuum and utilizing wormholes. And this is, you can find this. You can just type into Google "engineer gives space-time bending forensics" of that. And so my last little article here that relates to Skinwalker and time travel and portals in some way is that this is from the War Zone. Here is what the Pentagon is not answering about the Air Force and the recent UFO encounters. Now, this goes to the USS Nimitz, where the USS Nimitz and the Navy pilots in that FLIR footage, what was just being analyzed there on the previous article, is that the Air Force is not confirming or denying that it was or wasn't their craft up there. And they're just kind of giving a stalemate. All questions that were being answered by the Air Force are now being directed to someone at the Pentagon. And now all attempts to get any sort of information about what the Air Force may know about the USS Nimitz encounters is being squashed. They're just basically gaslighting reporters, trying to ask questions about what the Air Force may know or might have. And if the analysis is correct, and if we can make some leaps here, that was a United States Air Force vehicle that was playing cat and mouse with those Navy fighter pilots, and that it has access to some extremely interesting propulsion systems that can bend space-time. And they're doing space-time experiments at Skinwalker Ranch. And David Paulides is doing time experiments in relation to Missing 411. We got to basically have a bunch of time machine stories here.
Yeah, pics or GTFO.
Yeah, I know.
Pringles.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's all just hearsay. There's nothing there. There's nothing there but a bunch of blah, 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 blah. I mean, I know that you're all into this stuff, but for somebody like me, who's just tangentially aware of these kinds of things and that people believe that it's happening, it's like there's nothing convincing in any of that. And I hate to be like poo-pooing on it, but there's nothing convincing at all. You know, I know I was there for 14 seconds, but the camera says I wasn't. Okay. I just want to pat him on the head and say, whatever. You know, I don't even know if that matters. None of that even matters. Does it?
I guess,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, to me it would. Like if there is like footage or no footage of somebody who claims to be somewhere and they have other proof that they were there, that means there's missing time of 14 seconds. Like,
give it to me. Give me the legit proof.
I don't have it now. I mean,
right? You know what I mean? But he doesn't either. And so it's like, you know what I mean? Go pound sand. It's a waste of time.
Well, I mean that's what the show is, Joe. The show's a waste of time. I mean, we're out here trying to have fun talking about this stuff. You know, I get it. I mean, all this is anecdotal.
It's all anecdotal. It's like, okay, I'd love for this all to be true. I'd love for time travel to be true. I'd love for all this stuff to be true. But these people are also full of shit. You know, it just, I don't know. I have a very high bar to thrust my belief into
What show have you been
this.
on for like the past like 7 years?
I have always played this role.
I understand.
Been in this position.
I understand you play this role, but this is nothing like there are FLIR footage of a UFO out there by the Navy pilots. There is proof of there's something out there. There's an analysis like, hey, that FLIR footage, it looks like there might be some sort of time anomaly going on here because of X, Y, and Z. I mean, so beyond a UFO landing down and saying, here we are, I mean, people keep saying, we want proof, we want proof, we want proof. Well, there's a lot of evidence. You know, there might not be a lot of proof yet, but there's a lot of evidence indicating there's some serious, strange shit going on.
I mean, that I can totally understand. And I've seen a lot of different things that are compelling to say, there's something to that. But I mean, this History Channel shit and this, I mean, maybe the series will go somewhere, but this Skinwalker Ranch, I mean, obviously we've talked about it quite a bit, and some of the other stories are way more compelling than what they just described. I mean, this guy, it's almost like, you know, the 14-second thing is just really, it is so anecdotal. It is so almost meaningless that it's like, give me the proof. I mean, especially if it's this well-funded by this corporation, the History Channel, they've got all this money. Can't they put a little bit more oomph behind these claims?
Well, I would imagine that when the series is done, I hope that they would. I hope that all the findings will be released. But like any good corporation, any good business, the History Channel has a financial interest of people tuning into the show. So any sort of giant claim, any sort of finding will be released at the end. And
right. So it's like when they do like a reality TV show, like American Idol. It's like, and the winner is we'll tell you right when we get back.
They have to do this because of commercials and business. That's just the way it is. The guy, the scientist who's speaking there, I mean, he even said so on the Richard Dolan podcast. Like, listen, I would love to tell you, but I don't want to ruin the show. I understand
there's people who have degrees in all kinds of different things, economics and you name it. And they have said some real dumb shit. So it's, I don't think for 1 second, like the what do you call that? Ad veracundium or whatever is that appeal to authority fallacy. Like, I don't buy any of that stuff. It's like some people will jeopardize their reputation, you know, if they can bullshit you and get away with it. I think, I mean, look at Bernie Madoff, you know, I mean, he had a reputation until he didn't.
To a certain degree, yes, you can use that. You can use that reasoning, but then you have people like the Navy pilots, with the FLIR footage. Like, and you can say, "Oh, it's just a weather balloon up there. It's just swamp gas. They just saw swamp gas." I mean, this is the same stuff that they've been saying since the 50s, Joe. It's like,
well, and I
do
like some of
gas.
That stuff has been more interesting in the last couple of years, where it's like the Navy folks are coming forward and the Air Force folks are saying, yeah, no, there's so totally something going on and we're just not allowed to talk about it. Like, that stuff to me is a lot more interesting. And I'd much rather see a History or Discovery Channel show on this where they get these pilots. They have that? They
already did that show. It's called Unidentified.
Okay, so that to me is more compelling. It's like, talk to these people who have literally seen these things, get the things from them. And if you can get footage, like I think for some of these people, they do record, you know, while they're flying. And they also have like radar tracking and they can, this data is tracked, measured, and stored. That to me, it's like, it's way more compelling than, I know I was there for 14 seconds. It's like, okay, great.
I'm just reporting to you what I find to be interesting and fascinating to me. And
what's he gonna do with Skinwalker Ranch? Is he gonna open it up for camping? Can we all go camping on Skinwalker Ranch?
So that was a speculation that, are they going to turn Skinwalker Ranch into some sort of paranormal amusement park where you can go there, camp on the grounds for a weekend, and you can experience hauntings? Although
I think that would be something. That's something worthwhile. That's something worth exploring. If this guy just bought the place and he's into it because of the paranormal rumors that are floating around about it, then crowdsource this shit, man. You know what I mean? Like, crowdsource it.
I think that's what he's trying to do. As from what I've heard, he is not going to open it up to the public just yet. He's not against it in the future. As of right now, he's just pouring money into maintaining the property and doing scientific tests. And now I think this is part of the PR move of getting this out in front of people. I mean, the government has data on this stuff. There are experiments on this stuff. It's all in private corporations' hands. Like I said, Bigelow, he has the results of the experiments. ATIP was part of this. Bass was part of this. Millions of dollars got poured into studying shit going on at Skinwalker Ranch. The government does not have the ability. I guess they could by pointing a gun at somebody.
I don't want the government
force them to hand over the results.
Yeah, I want private citizens to.
Well, the private citizen Bigelow, he has all the results from all the experiments, and he's not releasing them. So, thus, we're moving on to the next phase, which is what's going on right now with the new owner, the Utah banker. Look, I'm going to watch every episode. You don't have to. I will.
Good.
And by proxy, you'll hear about it on the show.
I think he should open the damn thing up, and I think it'll be a lot more compelling. But I picture it being like this Scooby-Doo, thing where the guy sets up all these like holographic projection machines and all this stuff, and then by the time you figure out that there's like ghosts and the dire wolves and all this stuff, it's really just this guy fucking around with animatronics and shit.
That would be compelling too. That'd be like a cabin in the woods kind of situation.
Yes. That's free on Amazon, by the way. I have to rewatch that.
Crazy, scary movie.
Was it scary? I remember it being
okay, you're right. It wasn't scary. Yeah, you're right. It wasn't scary, like in a traditional like horror sense. I guess they're scary, like as in, oh, this doesn't seem implausible in some weird way.
Yeah, I have to rewatch it. I remember liking it, but I don't remember exactly everything. And it came out at around the same time I was really digging Tucker and Dale versus Evil. If you've ever seen that one.
No.
Oh my God, it's so good.
The interesting parallel between Cabin in the Woods and Skinwalker Ranch is that there are reports of a large underground structure underneath Skinwalker Ranch. And just like Cabin in the Woods, there was a large underground structure where they kept all those weird little monsters. And then based upon, how did they decide which creature came out? Oh, it was based upon the items that the people found in the cabin that chose the monster that got unleashed. And so with Skinwalker Ranch, by all accounts, and by what some people say, is that the ranch responds to you. And that some people that show up, they'll get a poltergeist interaction. Other people, they'll have like a Bigfoot interaction. Some people, balls of light or UFOs. It responds to you, almost like on an individual basis. And that when you leave the Skinwalker Ranch, whatever phenomenon that's kind of happening, it goes with you. Like it's hitchhiking back. Like there's some sort of like entanglement going on with you and the phenomenon that's going on at the ranch.
Like the quantum observation stuff.
Yes, and that's... the scientist there, the guy Travis, he is trying to devise a way to test if there's some sort of quantum entanglement going on with a person perceiving the phenomenon versus in the phenomenon. How do you test that? Like it's on some kind of quantum level. Oh boy.
I you know what? If he opens it up, I want to go camping there.
I would. Well, okay. I would do it. I would do it for the show.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's what I'm talking about. We go for the show.
Yeah, I'd go.
Do it live from Skinwalker.
Oh man,
Mike, you could live stream from there, and then you could have 15 seconds missing.
Whoa.
Well, we'll see.
No, we won't see because it would be gone. Well,
I want to see Joe too. Yeah, well, tough shit, Ark. You can't see me.
Joe he's there, but I recommend tweeting at Zoom and Streamlabs and telling them, hey, why don't you fix your software? There you go. We're trying.
And it's a damn shame because I've been sober for 2 weeks almost, and my skin is glowing, and my hair, like I said, I haven't been able to get it cut. It's crazy.
He looks incredibly handsome, people. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. It's going to be great. I'm going to go into modeling.
Oh my!
OnlyFans. Sign up to OnlyFans, and you can see me whack it.
Yes.
Excuse me.
All right, let's get out of Skinwalker Ranch. We'll move on to some other stuff. Here we go.
If you want to join the Slack or Discord, give us an email at ourbigdumbmouth@gmail.com. Check out obdmpod.com for all the social media and donation links. Be a part of the magic.